that's ultimately one of the places where this case is going to turn. I told you that creditors vote, but I put it here yet. Creditors vote, and the court confirms the plan. The court makes an independent decision. It doesn't just look at the votes. Say everybody votes yes. And if Horowitz gets wiped out because it's a debt for equity plan and he gets wiped out, nobody cares about his vote. If the judge believes that the property is worth more than the asset, he gets nothing. His vote doesn't count. If all the other creditors vote yes, the court still has to make a determination that the plan should be confirmed. And there's a lot of different things that the court looks at. One of them is, does it comply with these rules? There's a bunch of other things that the court has to look at. But one of the most important, is the plan feasible? That's in the Bankruptcy Code. The court must make a determination that the plan is feasible. That means, and what does that mean? It's defined in the Bankruptcy Code. A plan is feasible if it's reasonably likely that there won't be another bankruptcy in the immediate future. Did we fix the problem? And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And bankruptcy lawyers have a joke about a case that files twice in a row being a Chapter 22. There is no Chapter 22, but it does have U.S. Air is one of them, if you've read about it. But the judge is supposed to make an independent determination that the plan is feasible. And what does that mean? It means that he believes that the debt structure on the company is reasonable. That $200 million, the company really can support $200 million or 250 or whatever it ends up to be. And that the management is good. And that they have a plan for resolving litigation and dealing with the regulators, and that they won't be forced back into bankruptcy because of lawsuits again. So, just to sort of conclude, I want to get to one of the questions here, and that is, or I had two questions, which were the same. Okay, do the largest creditors get paid first? The answer to that is no. Creditors get paid at the same time. And when I say that these people get paid first, priority claims have to be paid in full, in cash. This is the lawyers, this is the post-petition workers and vendors, this is taxes. They got to be paid for the most part. They got to be paid in full right away. Secured creditors, they're entitled to $716 million, but they can get it in value. They can get it in new notes. They can get it, which are paid out over time. They get it in stock as long as they get that value. Unsecured creditors could get paid in full or could get stretched out as well. So nobody gets paid first except for the post-petition creditors, and it's certainly not the largest ones. How long is the company under the protection of Chapter 11, and what happens after? There's an answer, and then there's a gimmick. And the answer is that the debtor, the management of the company, has the exclusive right to propose a plan for 180 days, 6 months. That period, the court can extend that period for up to a year. So it could be that Palco and Scopac themselves are the only people who can propose a way out for 18 months. Let me tell you two caveats to that. First, the court can shorten that if it wants to. It can extend it, the 180 days, to a year and a half, but it can't extend it longer, and it can shorten it if it wants to. If people are able to convince it that it should be shortened, then other people should be able to propose a plan. And secondly, and I'm not going to talk about that in detail right now, but as you know, as you may have read in the paper, the note holders have asked the court to say that they are a single asset real estate debtor. That's a special section of the Bankruptcy Code. If they are a single asset real estate debtor, this case will move very fast, because under those provisions of the Bankruptcy Code, they have to propose a plan or start making interest payments or let the note holders foreclose within 90 days. So I can't handicap that. I can't handicap the venue motion either. I have no idea what will happen Tuesday. And I don't know how that single asset real estate issue will be resolved. That won't be heard until next month. So that's not on the table right away. But normally these cases run 1 to 2 years. Normally these cases run 1 to 2 years. So, two key issues in this case. And and ultimately, if you think about it, it's the same issue. Valuation. What are those properties worth? And if they're worth substantially more than $716 million, Horowitz will probably be able to stay in control. If they're worth substantially less, he will probably lose control. And the second question is feasibility. Feasibility. I've got to put a couple of letters in there. Feasibility. What's a feasible plan of reorganization? A feasible plan is a business plan for the company that the company can sustain on a long term. And I say these questions are related. Why are they related? Because what's valuation? If this was a used pickup truck, you'd go to the Blue Book. And I can tell you right now, it's between $1,200 and $1,400. But it's not. And nobody's buying this real estate for the scenery. You don't know what it's worth. This real estate is worth some multiple of the value of the timber that it can produce, that can be harvested. That's how you're going to determine what the value of this timberland is. What's the value of the harvest that it can take? And that goes to feasibility. What's a sustainable rate of harvest? What's a rate of harvest that it can continue to sustain over a long period of time? What's a rate of harvest that will comply with whatever you can get the regulators to go along with and won't get the environmentalists nutty? What's a rate of harvest that's a sustainable rate? Once you determine that, you can value the timberland. So these are the two key issues in the case. It can take some months before those issues are resolved.